All right, so officially it's 6:01, Wednesday, the 21st. We are having a Northwest San Pedro Neighborhood Council special meeting. Um, it's a one-item meeting, so we're going to go ahead and start the meeting. So welcome, everyone. Can we get roll call?
Hey, Gail Andrews. Oh, wait, let me see who showed up on the attendees. Okay.
Doug Eberhardt, Adrian.
Yeah, not board not board members. That's what I was looking for. Okay, Gail Andrews is unexcused. John Barbera.
Yeah, I'm here.
Vic Christensen here. Larry Eaton. Unexcused. Craig Goldfarb. Unexcused. Cynthia Gagne.
Cynthia.
You got to unmute.
Unmute, Cynthia.
Now can you hear me?
Yes. Okay, Gwen Henry. Unexcused. Alonzo Jenkins.
Here.
April Jones. Unexcused. Melanie Lebret.
Here.
Kelly Miller.
Here.
Kane Nicholas.
Present.
Thomas Norman.
Present.
Ray Regalado.
Here.
Michael Signorelli and Angela Sumner are both excused. Chris Valle is not here. He said he would be. At this point, he's unexcused. So we do have 9. So we have quorum.
Okay. Thank you all for being here. Let's move on to agenda item number 2, general public comment on non-agenda items. Please raise your virtual hand if you have anything you'd like to say, or do we have any other attendees that might want to weigh in?
Well, they can raise their hand.
Yeah, right. And I am actually not seeing any other hands. So with that, we're going to close agenda item number 2 and move on to agenda item number 3, which is actually the item that we're here to discuss, and that is discussion and possible action regarding the elimination of rollover funds into fiscal year 25-26. If I can, let me kind of give you an kind of a rundown as to what I've been doing since last week. I've been talking to everyone I can from the city clerk's office, Dunn, Bonk, and Tim's office to get a feeling as to whether they are going to ask us to give up any rollover funds. And depending on who I'm talking to, it seems that there is a chance we're going to keep them. However, I don't think we're going to have to essentially count on that fact, because there's still the opportunity for and I want to say county supervisors, but the city council to vote tomorrow to accept the budget overall, which includes the question of rollover funds, knowing that we will not be getting our 32,000 more likely. So with that said, we want to plan ahead to discuss what we're going to do with our rollover funds. And Melanie, since you're here, could you give us, do you have an exact amount that we will?
It's not exact. It looks like it's going to be approximately $7,000 because I'm waiting for invoices to clear.
when will you know the exact amount?
Not until At Work sends me their invoices, as well as John clears the food charges for Big Nick's of what he's charging.
So is that an outstanding bill? I mean,
They're outstanding. He hasn't billed for 2 months for the food.
But he
Okay.
will.
And I've been emailing him and texting him to put through the credit card to
and
charge.
do you have an estimated amount as to what that might be?
It varies how much he charges us because he discounts it. It's not the same every time,
Uh-huh.
but it's approximately going to be probably about 220
Each.
20 per,
per
Invoice?
month. And then At Work has been running about 170 each. But like I said, it's gonna be close to 7,000 that we roll over.
okay,
And
so
Christina's still got to put through her May and June for mailroom.
given those estimates, do you think, so you're saying that given those estimates, we will have approximately 7,000?
Yes.
Okay. The document that you have, the language, Vic, we'll put that at 7,000, approximately $7,000 in the blank area?
No, the blank would be for each, this is for each individual.
No, I'm
We're
not.
gonna do each individual motion for like, we're gonna get, do this amount for paper and this amount for equipment and this amount for whatever. Or if we want to vote on it all at once, we can just have one large, one list of things and put the total amount in the blank.
So I personally am leaning, and this is up for discussion. I'm personally leaning to do an approximation amount, so with the understanding that it will be, as we fill in the blanks on these individual pieces here. Only because at this particular point, I'm not exactly sure what it is that we're going to end up spending.
So I did some research a little bit today when I got home from physical therapy. And one of the things, because I don't know, Vic, if you've done any research at all on any costs of anything?
No.
No. Okay.
And,
So
and I was
can
leaving
I
it to
share the
Chris to
screen?
do
Am I
the-
allowed to share screen? Let me open up a couple of these things.
Your hair's still purple.
Let's see. Let me get these opened up first because they need to be open in order for them to screen share. Darn it. Come on and open. There. Okay, so let me try and screen share. So one of the things.
I don't think you can until I stop. So
Oh, okay.
I'll stop so you can start, and then I can go back up with the spreadsheet when we need it.
Okay.
And the
Oh,
motion.
this is one of the systems that I found that is a Logitech group video conferencing system. This would have expansion for microphones and mid to large size meeting rooms to do like the video and have all coordinate everything for a large room video conferencing system for Zoom. It plugs into your laptop. Oh, it won't let me go to the other screen. A small little screen over here shows it all plugged into the laptop, and then you video conference. Let's see, will it let me switch?
What would we be using that for?
To do a hybrid meeting.
Have we ever done one like that? I mean,
We have not, but that we haven't had the equipment to do it. So this is one of the options, is to do this. Let's see. This is the other version of it
Okay,
that doesn't have the mics with it. It just is the large meeting room video conferencing, and see, it plugs right in to the
Okay,
computer.
let me just say that Thomas has his hand up. Thomas, do you have a question on this discussion here?
Yeah, just I'm very in favor of the first one with the mics.
Yeah.
Planning and land use has been doing hybrid meetings for probably 2 or more years. And we're reliant on the chamber for that. So my committee wanted me to come with a request. Jason suggested some other options, but I like what you have, Melanie, better. It looks more professional, though it's more expensive. That would totally meet the needs, of when I'm running a hybrid committee, whether or not we do it for our stakeholder meeting, it still would be very beneficial for planning and land use. It has, 2 to 3 meetings a month. We're doing a special meeting, just next week with Phillips 66. So this would be very helpful to keep the community engaged and actually to,
I
just
agree.
make sure we all stay up to speed. So that's my vote.
And
I'm-
then I'm just sharing these different options that I come up with. This is another one. Whoops, where'd it go? Where's the other one? This one. This is the other one that's just a solo camera. So those are the options. Okay, the other thing is, because the screen,
Hang on
at
a second, Melanie.
huh?
We got another question from Kane. I'm going to try to take these questions as they're raised because I'm going
Okay,
to assume that they are specific to what you're talking about at that particular moment that the hand is raised. So
Okay.
let's kind of be conscious of that. And then I'm looking at
Alrighty.
my screen. So Vic, you're next. Okay. Kane?
Yes, thank you. For the cameras that you're showing, and thanks for the research. Do they move
Yes.
lateral up and down?
they're 3D,
Okay.
so all
Or-
around.
Or it can swivel basically?
They swivel and they're
Okay.
3D.
Thank you.
Vic?
Vic?
Well, I had another question, but on that one, how do you control that they swivel, or do you do that by hand, or do you set it and leave it?
You have to set it up. From what I read on the multi $1,300 one, it says that you have to set it up on that thing that was at the bottom. You set it up in the settings of it to set it what you want. If you want a wide angle and to have it steady, you can set it as a wide angle steady for
Okay,
to stay steady and cover everything.
But it will not move in real time. You set it and leave it.
Yeah, you just set it and leave it.
Okay.
It's attached to the laptop.
Okay.
I think the $1,300 one does move. I think it's in the chamber. It does kind of follow the movement a little bit. I think
It
the higher
It
end
does,
one
but
has
you
that
can set
advantage.
it to where it does a wide angle steady on it too, on that keyboard thing at the bottom.
Yeah.
You can set it to be steady,
But
or
it-
you can have it do
Okay.
like,
So
rotating.
it can track movement.
yes,
Okay. The original question I had is that would cover part of the equipment, but there is still the issue of the Wi-Fi signal.
I'm
have we
coming up,
looked into the hotspots or anything yet?
yes, I've got that. I've covered everything, so.
Okay, because I thought
came
Chris was going to
home
do
when
that.
I
but haven't
was
heard.
under the impression that nobody had done it and went through and sorted through everything. So as I go along here, it's just hard because it's screenshots right now. So
Okay.
I'm trying to cover everything right now.
Because I thought Chris was going to do that. That's why I was wondering.
Nope, didn't happen. So,
Okay.
Kelly,
Kelly?
So my question is basically I'm just for clarification. So we're planning on spending the money. So we're looking at ways of spending the money so that we don't have a rollover.
yes,
Is that what the objective is?
we don't want to give the money back to general fund of the city
Right.
council.
Let me add this to the conversation so that we're aware. There is supposed to be a vote by city council tomorrow for the and I don't know if my dog is, if you can hear her barking, but
Can't hear.
I'm sorry for that.
No.
But there's supposed to be a vote tomorrow and by city council to accept the whatever is in front of them, whatever the mayor has approved. If that plan says that we can keep our rollover funds, then this conversation is null and void, and using the language that is on the motion, so that it allows us to have a more broader conversation about how we spend the money.
Oh, cool.
Okay, so this is only if we are gonna be asked to turn the money back to the city.
Okay, but these are still necessities, right? So like
Well, there's
this,
still necessities. We can still,
Okay.
plan on something like this, but we may have a little bit of more time to discuss it.
right,
However, I still want to be able to throw this in. We're getting 25,000 next year. Do we want to spend, some of that money in the ability for us to run our business next fiscal year,
Yeah.
which starts July 1st for everybody?
See, in the initial plan with the rollover and why we were kind of being kind of persnickety about spending and kind of tight was that the thought was next year we're doing pathways again. We wanted to be able to do pathways,
right.
but without the rollover, it's going to be pretty tight being able to do it. I'm not sure that it takes some creative planning to be able to do it. But let me share the other stuff here that I've got. Okay, so
Okay,
the
wait,
next one,
Thomas has his hand up. Let's take.
is
Tom.
it just left up or does he have it up?
Well,
Yeah.
I'm in the process of asking him. Thomas?
Well, sorry, that was left up.
Okay. All right, so go ahead if you want to.
Okay, let's
go to
share
the
the
next step.
rest. So the next thing is because the screen is broken at
The monitor?
the big screen is broken
Oh,
at Peck
You're-
Park. It's all
You're talking
ripped.
about the roll down screen.
The roll
on
down
stage.
screen. You could have this monitor at the end of the table and it would show who's on Zoom that's joining us virtually. That way we could see who's joining us virtually. You could put it at the end of the table so all of us could see it.
Okay, and I'm also hearing that it's also pretty good. It would be maybe something that we could use if we take our meetings, our hybrid meetings on the road that may not have a screen or other electronic
Exactly.
monitor device.
Like at Harbor Station.
Right, yeah. So I see two screens on there. Melanie, are you suggesting one or the other?
Oh, there's two, yes. One is a G4 23.8 LCD, and it just preferences. This one's $326.99, which is a pretty good monitor. And this one is curved video conferencing. So this one curves. So it's I'm not sure, it's a curve type one was recommended for video conferencing to have like one that kind of it bends. So it's preference
This
more
looks
than
like it might be
anything.
a larger
So
screen,
Thomas
right?
would know a lot about this too. So
Yeah,
I'm
okay.
Yeah, I
kind of
use these at the
leaning at
university.
him as I come up with this stuff.
Okay,
I highly
so
recommend the second one because it's much larger and the curving for our use is going to be much more visible for people on the sides of the table. So I would say that's a clear winner. It's worth the $300.
Yeah, I agree.
okay. Thomas, that was your comment as far as the
Yep. That was
okay. Okay, great.
Okay, Vic.
I see Victor's hand and then I also see Cynthia's hand next.
I was gonna say the same thing. 34-inch is much better than a 23.8. The curve is not gonna make much of a difference. My question of these two, definitely the 34-inch. And I'm wondering if even that is too small, but I know we have to look at the cost too.
Right.
Okay, Cynthia?
okay, so I was looking at the second screen that's curved. If we're gonna be moving the screen around and carrying it with us to different sites and things and cars, it's gonna break easier than the flat screen. It would be harder to transport. Maybe if we got a bigger flat screen. Just a suggestion.
Okay. Thank you for that, Cynthia. Nicholas, Kane.
Yeah, my comment, similar to Cynthia's, is storage.
Hmm. Yeah, and that's a problem as to whether or not even the mailroom has storage for something like this.
So
Then that's
ju-
where we run into a problem too.
So just so that you are aware, we have a contract with the mailroom to do our storage because uh, there is the law of the land, meaning that it's coming from uh, from the funding people or done, is that we really should not be taking. Hang on a second. We really should not be taking stuff that we buy for neighborhood councils to our residences.
Right.
Yeah,
They frown on that. So
yeah,
just
so no storing at your house, so it would have to, we'd have to make sure there was storage for this. A place that it could safely be stored. What I suggest, one of the things that I suggest that be immediately done this fiscal year is we go and get all the old equipment that we have, because we have some old equipment that is at the mailroom that Christina showed me that was some speakers, there's some other stuff, and tell Empower LA to come and get it and send it back, other than our soundboard and the newer stuff that we have. But the old system and the old speakers and all that, just, we need to have them come and get them and put them to wherever they take them to. They have to come and pick them up.
okay. I see a hand from an attendee. I see two hands from an attendee. I saw Lori's hand first and then Cheryl. Lori?
Hi there. Just two things. One, just a reminder, you guys do have an office where you could possibly store this system. And there's also some old equipment at the office that if you're going to be returning stuff, you probably should go through that. And just to be transparent, things are not going so great with the planning of pathways to employment. So I wouldn't let that be a deciding factor when you're looking at this budget. Right now, I'm going to tell you it's about 50-50 whether we're able to work things out with LAUSD. And even if we do have it, I was planning on getting sponsors to cover most of the costs. So just wanted to add those couple of things. Thanks.
Thank you, Lori. Cheryl?
Now I'm unmuted. Just we checked for Coastal to return equipment. They do not pick up
They
anymore.
do.
They don't generally make you drag it downtown. What they generally make you do, what they told us a month ago when we asked, is you have to take pictures, send it to them, have the board vote to get rid of it, and then they have you just take it where, like to the e-waste place.
Oh,
What they told us when we asked recently.
okay.
Okay. Good information. Thank you, Cheryl.
Thank you, Cheryl.
Okay.
Okay, so the next,
Melanie, any more information on the monitor?
yeah, so that's it on the monitor. I have something else to share though. Let me get the next thing. Now the next one. Here we go. This is the next one. This is the hotspots. In order for us to do anything at the Peck Park, this little baby will be our best friend. We're probably going to need 2 or 3 of these.
Okay, I'm by no means any expert on this, but those of you who are more tech savvy, does that sound like it is reasonable? 2 or 3 of these hotspots?
Yeah, you might, when you talk about how many, we might have to kind of make a square pattern. You'd need 4 of them. So they kind of crisscross. So they'll make a better connection and it is a brick building. And we got to see, Mel, is there some write-up on this stuff you can send me so I can read it?
What do you mean?
Well, is there?
More information on it, the specifics.
Yeah, where I can.
No, I mean, let me be clear. Someone else was supposed to do this and I heard nothing of it.
No,
Okay.
no, I know.
You know,
Last
we
minute,
have
I
a couple
scrambled
other electronic
today.
techies here with
So-
us, Melanie. Let me see. I saw Thomas's hand go up and then Vic. So Thomas?
Yeah, no, they're not that expensive, so I was thinking 3 would probably be enough for the amount of attendees we typically have. We do have students some days though, so 4 I think is better, it gives us redundancy. It seems to be a reasonable model. The one thing that would be ideal would be to get 1 and just see how it works in the brick, right? You never know that until you try the location you're in. So that's the only caveat.
Oh, this.
Thank you. Vic?
The other issue or another, well, issue and possibility. The issue is even if we have the hotspots around the general area of the, the table inside, you still need a way to get the signal outside. So you need, my thought is you're going to need something like a series of hotspots going from the meeting area itself out to the door to be able to get the signal outside. The possibility is to, instead of using all hotspots, using boosters or repeaters to boost the signal of the 1 or more hotspots that we have. And then there's also the question of, which I don't think should be a problem, but I've never worked with hotspots, so I don't know, is if we get multiple hotspots, we also have to be able to make them work together to, pass the same signal instead of like 4 different MAC addresses or something like that.
They have to be networked.
Right.
Now,
So there's some technical things that need to be done once we get them, but there's also making sure that the signal gets outside the room.
so my very uninformed question is, it was suggested to get multiple hotspots. I heard up to 4. Would that mean that we would need to get maybe 1 or 2 others to get it outside the building? Or are we talking about the repeater
No.
aspect? And is that a different piece of equipment that,
It's this, Ray.
oh, you have a repeater?
This is a
Or is
extended
that?
Booster.
Or a range extender?
Right. Makes it,
Ah,
increases
okay.
signal power.
Melanie, I'm so impressed that you are reading everyone's mind. Thank you for that. So I don't know. And I see Lori's hand up, so I'm gonna go to her, but I just want to find out, Laura, Melanie, or one of you experts out there, is this what we talk about? This signal booster, would that be
Yes.
helpful?
This is what you get to help boost the hotspot signals.
To get it outside?
You get it from outside into the room.
Okay.
You put this outside, you plug it outside, and it boosts the signal into where your hotspots are.
Okay. So I see a couple hands up, but Lori's hand has been up. So Lori, you have a question?
No, I just wanted to inform you that the last 2 homeless counts were held in that room. And LASA brought 1 mobile hotspot that worked both years. The only important thing is they run on batteries to make sure that you've charged them beforehand, but they did not have any of these other things that you guys are talking about. Now, maybe because they were only running like 3 or 4 laptops, I'm not a tech wizard, but what I would suggest is buy 1 mobile hotspot and test it out at your next meeting before you buy others. But they had no problem running the homeless count with 1 mobile hotspot.
Can I?
Thank you. Let me see. Okay, I have 3 hands up, John, Victor, and Kane. So I'm gonna go in order that is on my screen. John, then Victor, then King.
Just so you know, that building is, like I said, I want to emphasize this, guys, because I do know a lot about this stuff. I'm keeping quiet just to hear everybody. You got to realize it's a brick building. The second thing, the intensity is pretty strong in that building. And for what we want to do, Lori is right. What we need to do is we need to try it with one and see how it goes. And Mel, plugging the thing outside, I understand, but we got to make sure, that the building is going to accept it. I mean, you can have 2, 3 of them in there, and we still might not get what we need. Our bandwidth might not be enough. So that's one of the things we got to make sure that it's going to have a high bandwidth and it's going to be enough to do what we want to do.
I think the only concern is we don't have a lot of time to play with things,
Right.
stuff. Unfortunately, if we do not spend this on the credit card by June 20th, if the money does not roll over, it's gone. It goes to general fund. The money is completely
Oh.
gone. We have until the 20th of June at 11:59 to
Right.
spend this money. Our board
Okay.
meeting in June is on
The 9th, I
the
think.
9th of June to try this out.
Okay, let me go to Vic.
Well, the same, partially the same. One is one range extender enough? If it is, great, but if not, then we would need more. Two, if we can get the test equipment to us quickly, then we may have enough time to test it out, possibly even before the meeting, but more likely at the meeting, and then quickly order it. If it works, quickly order it afterward, or order more if we need more. So yeah, I mean, from the 9th to the 20th is really a lot of time as far as ordering goes. But
So,
we need to make sure we know what we need to order and have enough to make it
Right,
work.
and keep in mind, we have a limit per day of what we can spend. So this may require a couple of trips to go get it in a couple of different days.
okay, let's,
Where are these coming from? Are these coming from like Best Buy?
Yes.
Oh, okay, so it's not being shipped. We can just drive
Okay.
over and get it.
Hopefully
Let-
if they have it in stock.
Okay.
let's move over to King,
Thank you.
and then Thomas, I should
In
say.
the interest of time, and then thank you again, Melanie, for putting together this cost buy list and potentially. I would suggest that if we have, first of all, it sounds like we're about maybe what $4,000 into the $7,000 budget, and so in moving forward, let's budget for maybe 4 of these items, and if anything, we don't open them and either return them or exchange them for some other like tech product, so we can move on and kind of fill the budget.
Thank you, King. Thomas.
If we go back to the numbers, I'll put them in the spreadsheet and then we'll know.
Thomas?
I would like us to take action. The thing I don't know if it works, and John, I agree with John's point. We should try the $50 hotspot. I know I'd just like to see if that works in the brick building, and I'd like tonight for us to make a motion to spend that $50, because if that doesn't work, the repeaters and everything don't matter at all. But I do think there's enough urgency and enough utility for the public to have that hotspot and just to know and get that sooner rather than later. And I'm fairly available the next couple of weeks if it comes in, Melanie, to just do a demo before we have our meeting, because
Okay.
I also, would prefer we not spend our meeting time doing tech support.
I agree.
Okay, thank you. I see no other hands. Melanie, is there any other equipment that you're thinking about?
No.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
Well,
I identified 4 different pieces of equipment that were suggested. I didn't get write the prices down. I don't know. Vic, by any chance, were you listening to prices and stuff like that?
I got some of them. That's why I wanted to verify from Melanie. So
Okay,
for the initial camera setup, I think it was 1,300 something.
$13.99.
99.
Is that 99.99?
It's $1,399. And remember, there's gonna be tax on this
Right,
stuff.
right. Okay, so that's 13.99. One Wi-Fi hotspot is 49.99.
Correct.
$49.99, but we probably should budget for 4 of them, but separately budget for 1 or 3, budget for 3, and then separately 1 to be bought now.
Which is budgeting for
Different
4,
motions.
which is essentially budgeting for 4.
But budget for 1 to buy now and not on the maybe list. The other one would be to buy now for sure. And the other ones are just maybes.
Okay, the repeater booster is 99.99.
Yep.
The display, the monitor is 659.99.
Yes.
Okay, is that all we're talking about right now?
And the hotspots. Yep, that's it.
Yeah.
Okay. And I'm using 4 hotspots for this estimate. And remember, like you said, we got to add tax. Just the pre-tax cost for 1 camera setup, 1 range extender, 1 display, and 4 hotspots is is $2,358.94. So about $2,300 plus bucks. And I can.
Plus tax. 10.
Well,
it's
yeah.
5% tax now, I think.
Okay.
Kelly?
Hang on here. I need to do. Okay, here's what we got so far.
Yeah, so your motion, we should probably figure out tax and add it in there. So we're making a motion for accurate amount.
What is it? And you talking the Best Buy on PCH?
Yeah, it's 10.5%, I think, tax.
Yeah, I forgot to add columns for that. Okay. 10.5, you said?
Yeah.
Hey. Oh, stupid. Okay, there we go. 2606.63.
Okay.
So I would say something like not to exceed 2,700.
Yeah.
So but remember, this is with 4 hotspots. Do we want to do that all at once with the understanding we're going to order 1 first? Or
We probably need a separate motion to buy the 1 first.
You know what? I would like to just say let's kind of go back to what Kane said earlier. And Kelly, I see your hand up, so I'll call on you next. Why don't we buy all 4 and have them there and only unwrap them if we feel we need it,
we can return them if necessary.
Okay.
and then we'll return them.
So that's a definitive purchase right now. It won't be a maybe purchase if we don't get the rollover funds. If we're going to go and you want me to go and get the hotspots now, and that's a definitive purchase. Everything else is on hold to see if we get our rollover funds taken or kept.
Okay, let me call on Kelly and then Thomas. Kelly, go ahead.
Okay. So I know at our meetings that we have the projector, we usually have the screen projector, and that we don't have that right now. Do we need another one of those? Is that not?
We have
Another-
don't have a minute taker. We don't have somebody to sit there at the desk and be a minute taker to run the projector, so there's no use bringing it.
I mean, we have one though, right? I mean, because I could do that while we're at the meeting. I'm just putting the agendas up. If it's on the computer, you put it on and you do, I mean, I use it in my classroom all day long. So, I mean, but I'm just wondering if we have one of those. I thought maybe it was broken or something happened.
No, ours is brand new. Our laptop's brand new also.
Okay, so maybe we could work on doing that because it saves paper too.
It's just, we weren't asking board members to do it because it seems like our board members should be there focusing on the board meeting and not running the agenda and running the screen and all of that.
Yeah, but that's not,
Yeah, we don't have that option.
I don't have any problem doing that.
Okay, I mean, if you're willing to do it.
Okay,
then-
that's,
Okay, I was just gonna put that out there to buy one if we didn't have one.
No.
And
we
I
have
know
a
that we
very
wanted,
nice brand new one.
okay, I know that youth and outreach, we had talked about getting some kind of tablet or something so we could do for Angela to take minutes on and everything else. And I don't know whatever happened with that or if it ever went through. John, do you know what transpired with that? I know we
Okay.
looked it up several times.
so, Thomas has a question and then I have a suggestion. Thomas?
I was listening to the wisdom, what you said, Ray, and that the alternative, there is a better hotspot that's about 150. So I was going to move that we approve buying, approve 200 or 499 times 4 times 1.105, that amount to purchase webcams with the intention that Melanie will go purchase 4 of those smaller ones. We try them out. And then if we have to return them, we'd still be in a position to, to exchange it for another. I'm not sorry, I said webcams, I meant hotspots. So
Which hotspot? Will you send me the
the 49.91 one that you found. I think we should try that because if it works, it works. I think it does 10 per, but if it doesn't, then we'd have an ability with this motion. If we're just saying hotspots to go back and upgrade to the $150 model and see if it's stronger. But I think we should try to be as fiscally responsible as possible and get 4 for $50 if they work. Sometimes the cheap stuff works as good as the expensive stuff.
Okay.
And just so I can understand, there is still going to be the need for that signal booster or extender?
I don't know.
Maybe we have to
But
take the
it's
hotspot out
but
first.
but it's still something that we will purchase and use and use it only if we need it, and if not,
Yeah.
take it back. So the question is, we're still going to purchase the signal booster.
Now, no, we're gonna wait. We're just gonna get the hotspot for now and see how it works. With or without the rollover funds coming. We're gonna go get one and play with it.
And one reason for that, Ray, is I don't know if this model does, but many hotspots already do a mesh connection, and then we wouldn't need the repeater if they do work that way. If they recognize each other, they kind of boost each other. But if they don't, then that would be, the range extender would be a great option.
Okay, so hearing the comment that was emphasized by John, because we're in a brick building, we could be dealing with that challenge. But Thomas, you're feeling that we just see if it works and then go out and purchase this other one, right? Is that what I'm
Yeah,
hearing?
we don't know if it works until we try it. So try one. If it doesn't work, then we have the ability to go back and try the more expensive one. And then if it doesn't work, then we have to look at a way to wire a device and repeat it differently, if the park will let us do that.
Okay.
But
So,
Thomas, I'll go buy one and Thomas and I will meet up and try and see how the hotspot works. Not during the board meeting, do a technical test on it, outside of the board meeting.
so I have again, a very uninformed question. Will we be needing any kind of lighting so that the cameras can pick up? I know we have a lot of light, but would that be something that we may need at another location that may need lighting? I'm just throwing that out there.
The camera that the system is, it it should have its own, it'll
Built-in.
have its outer lenses, and then it's gonna have its little lights. It should pick up, Ray. The newer systems pick up a lot of, they have a tendency to make more light. So it should be the way the auditorium is lit, depending where we put it, it should be adequate enough. I don't think we would need to do lighting.
Okay, just,
They're more high intensity now, the cameras, not like, say 5-10 years ago.
okay, all right. Any other discussion?
We might want to get a couple long extension cords to have.
Absolutely. Yeah, I would like
Yeah.
to be able to plug my laptop in when we have meetings.
Okay,
And those run, does somebody have a price on those? Let me see.
Usually if you're gonna need 50-foot cords.
Are there
but
outlets? Are there outlets in the floor at Peck Park?
No,
There are the wall. I plugged mine in. I taught all day, so I plugged in the wall up until the meeting, and then I took it over to where, for the meeting. So there is
Okay.
one. You need to run it from a wall behind where the tech guy is.
But it's from a wall, okay.
You gotta be careful, you have to tape it down too.
Are there any under the overhang of the stage?
I don't believe so. Everything comes on the sides of the walls, like where Kelly and I sit and everybody else. You've got a few back there, and then where Thomas, Angela, Kane, where
On
they
the side,
sit,
yeah.
there's a few back there.
And they're probably on the back wall too.
Yeah, and the back wall where the tables and stuff are.
so I'm hearing a couple of at least 50-foot extension cords.
So I'm looking and it
Yeah,
looks
at least.
like one getting a to get like a strip type thing, surge protector too, with that type of equipment plugged in. You should have a surge protector put into it, plus the cords. That's gonna be, let's see, good surge protector is $30, and then long extension cords are $20 a piece.
Well, how many surge protectors are we gonna need?
One.
And is it
A
30?
It's a multiple of 6 plugins to it.
Is the price 30 or is it like 30 dot or 29 dot?
Well, there's $29.99. And then the surge protector.
Wait, I thought that was the surge protector.
Yeah,
No, the extension cords are $29.99 for 50-foot good ones.
and that's 2 of them we're looking at, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
And some of the better surge protectors, the electronic ones, they range anywhere from $49.99 to $99.99.
What I'd recommend is getting 2 of the smaller ones. I think it's only fair we have them run to both sides of the table, so you don't just have the people with laptop side and the non-laptop. And so they can go. So
the smaller surge protectors.
yeah, I'd get 2 so you can serve both sides, and
Those are the $49.99 each.
and then you need a cord cover for safety. I do think we don't want anybody tripping, so I don't know if Best Buy has those, but it's called a cord floor cord cover. So you might want to look at what those are.
Yeah,
If-
they're just like a little, like a speed bump.
Like a little
Yeah.
Peloton speed bump.
Yeah,
Yeah,
they're pretty cheap on Amazon.
they
They
have
range from
they have them at Best Buy. Let's see what it says. Floor cord covers.
Remember, if you get 50-foot cords, and then you're gonna have the surge protector, the cord has to be at least 14 gauge wire,
Yeah.
14.3, not 16. It has to be at least 14 or even 12 because of the distance.
That's the match.
Okay, here we go. There's one that says line half round, cord cover small. It's wide 59 inches by 39 inches length. And it's $14.99.
It's 55 inches, 59 inches wide.
It's 59 inches, 0.59 inches wide.
Might be 59
Times
inches.
Half an
39
inch?
inches long.
Usually they're about 3 to 4 inches wide and
Yeah.
5 feet, 6 feet, 7
That's
feet.
all that's coming up.
No, hang on, let me look.
And also, Melanie, go back to the extension cord and check on the gauge value,
Oops. The what?
if it has it.
The gauge value of the wire.
In the meantime, I see Lori's hand up. Lori, you have a question or comment?
Hi there. Just a reminder again for somebody to go to the office and see what equipment is there. There might be some extension cords. I think there might be a bag to carry some of this equipment in. I'm not sure. John, do you remember? I know there was some
Yeah,
old
there
equipment,
might, yeah,
batteries.
there should be some stuff there.
Yeah, so before you buy it, if somebody can go to the office and check, I just, there might be stuff there that you could use.
Yeah. Okay.
Thank you.
Melanie, the 50-foot cord at Home Depot, it's yellow, it's 14.3, it's $31.64 each.
Okay.
And then
John, that was extension cord, you said?
that's the extension cord. That's a 14 gauge. The
And it was
12,
give me the price again.
okay, the 50-foot 14/3 gauge heavy duty extension cord is $31.64. And if you do the 12/3 heavy duty, it's $60.72 each.
So what do we want?
Yeah, that's fine.
14 should be
Adequate.
adequate enough. Unless we're going to run multiple things on it, then I would suggest the 12.
What, the length of it?
No, the gauge of the wire.
Are we hooking surge protectors into the extension cord?
You plug into one. Yeah.
Plug the extension cord into the surge protector, yeah.
So surge protector into the wall, extension cord into the protector.
Right.
Yeah.
So any multiple things we hook up would be hooked up to an extension cord, not the surge protector.
Well, no, it's going to be hooked up to the surge protector. You're going to plug the extension cord into the wall, and on the female receptacle part of it, you're going to plug the surge protector in there. So
okay, that's not what people just said yes to when I described.
No, so what happens, Vic?
The extension cord is going into the wall, not the surge protector, correct?
correct.
Okay. So if we're hooking up multiple things to the surge protector, which we would be, most likely.
No, the surge protector doesn't go into the wall. The extension cord does.
Like I said, if we're hooking up multiple things to the surge protector.
You want your equipment to plug into the surge protector.
No, but
let me finish.
no, he's right.
Listen to what I'm saying. We're hooking up one thing to the extension cord. We are hooking up, and that thing being the surge protector. We are hooking up multiple things to the surge protector.
Yes.
Will that combined load cause a problem for one 14 gauge extension cord?
No, it won't unless we're going to use all 6 outlets on the surge protector.
Well, and that's my point. Are we going to, or are we just hooking up a couple things, or what? Do we want to go for the 12 just to make sure? Or do we want to go with the 14?
You want to go with the 14 before the 12.
Well, price wise, yes, but equipment wise, is that still the case?
You want to go with the higher gauge, the one that can handle more capacity.
That's the 12.
That's the 12 gauge.
Have the smaller,
Yeah, if we're gonna,
lighter gauge.
That's my point.
if we're gonna plug into both sides of the walls and run stuff there, yes, then we gotta use the 12.
So why do we not get the 12 with surge protectors for each, where the surge protector will be plugged in after we get, okay, we plug the extension cords into the wall and the surge protector into the extension cord so that we can plug multiple items
Into the surge protector.
into the surge protector.
Okay, what was the price for the 12 gauge again? 60 what?
I think it was 61.49.
And this one's at Home Depot, I
Well, would
understand.
you
Yes.
make sure?
Yeah, hang on, give me a second here. Sorry, Vic.
It's all right. I'm typing other stuff.
The cell phone is okay, so actually I found one that's a little cheaper. It's write the name down, Southwire.
Well, look, price it out at the more expensive one, and then we could go shopping later. I mean, we're hitting small little details that I think.
Well, it was 61. Yeah, I believe it was 61.49. So leave it at that. I found the same 50-foot cord, 12.3 from Southwire for 31.31.
Maybe.
Half the price for the same
Yeah.
thing?
Yeah,
I'm sure you have all the specs right on both of them if they match.
they're the same. 12/3 SJTW. High visibility outdoor heavy duty extension cord.
Okay.
And where was the surge protector coming from?
What did you say, Melanie? Home Depot?
For me was Best Buy.
For the surge protector?
The surge protector, yes.
And the floor cord cover, what did we come up with for that?
I couldn't find something. I'm trying to look on
I'm-
Amazon right now.
I'm looking right now, Vic.
If not, use tape. Use electrical tape and cover
Yeah, that's a thought too.
Oh,
they're
here we
cheap.
go.
Not electrically, duct tape.
Tape. Well,
Here's
Okay.
the D-line 6-foot floor cord cover, cable protector, height extension cords, etc. It's 0.63 wide by 0.31 high.
That's about right. 6
Half inch?
6 inches, almost 6. Yeah. Yeah,
That-
because it'll cover 3 to 4 cords.
Okay, a half inch wide doesn't seem enough to cover.
No,
but
it's 6.3 inches. It's 6 inches, 0.3, right, Mel?
It's 0.63.
Oh, that's just that's only 5/8 of an inch.
that's a half. Yeah, that's
nothing.
not enough for an extension to
No.
cover an extension cord.
Yeah, I'm looking at these and I'm like, what the heck?
Give me 1 second.
What's this one?
One
This-
second.
Jane, you have your hand up?
Yeah, thank you. I'm trying to recall my Robert's rules for progress because we're in the weeds on extension cords, and we could allocate a budget, for extension cords, protectors, and tents.
I think what's going on is we're trying to determine what that amount should be, so we don't go over it when we're actually going out looking.
We aren't comfortable with the price because we don't know, Kane. And so that's why we're searching in the weeds right now, is because none of us are familiar with how much it costs for one. So we can't like estimate a cost and not knowing and then go over that price. You can't go over, unfortunately, and there's no coming back to this.
Yeah, I would just in relative to the budget and what we're trying to solve for this meeting is what I'm thinking about.
Well, from what I'm looking at here, there's one that's 4 feet that has 3-channel floor. It would take can take a couple of extension cords, but it's only 4 foot. There's a 10-footer. Vic, from what I'm seeing, it's gonna average anywhere between $34 and $40.
And we need how many of those?
That's the next question. Yeah.
Well, we got 10-footers. You're only going to need it to where it's going to come up to a table, or where
Right.
people are going to walk over. So
Height probably.
Well,
then
but people walk around the outside to go back and get food and other stuff. So it's not just going to be at the table.
well, the 10-footers are $34.20 each.
So you need probably 4 of them.
Right, do 20 per side.
20 per side, exactly, is what I was thinking.
What was it? 34?
It's $34.20 each
For the 10-foot?
for the 10-foot.
And that's where, John?
Home Depot.
Home Depot? Okay.
Anything else?
I think that's it for the electrical stuff. Then now we're at 3,000, say. So now we're like looking at the problem with the paper that we're going to run into again is whether or not Cheryl has room at the mailroom to store paper.
Yeah, but once again, we have an office space at City Hall, so we can put it in our room, like Lori said.
Rid of the
I
other.
thought there was a concern about in the past safety of stuff there and it not getting taken and used.
Well, we have to mark the box unless we have a box or one of the filing cabinets, we put the stuff in there and we lock it. They can't get into it.
Yeah, but a big ream of paper is not going to fit in that filing cabinet.
No, but if we take it out of the boxes and stack them into the filing cabinet, and like I said, if the key doesn't work, we replace the key, and so we have it, and nobody else can use it.
I have a question about electronics.
Mm-hmm.
Do we need a microphone to pass around or anything like that, or are we talking about meetings for 10 to 15 people?
The microphones are in that kit.
Oh, okay, thank you.
If I can suggest, let's purchase the paper, let's purchase the ink,
Okay.
and we'll find a spot to put it in.
Let me share screen again. Let's see here. Where did it go to? For the love of God.
While Melanie's doing that, are we planning on doing one motion to cover everything?
Yes,
Okay.
we're looking for a grand total.
Okay.
Thank you. Thank you.
And where did the other go? I'm losing my mind. I swear. Where did it go? It was right here on my screen and now it's not. Oh, wait. There it is. Okay, I found it. Thank you. Okay, share. Okay, so the first one is this. Office Depot has the Hammer Hill paper on sale for $55.99 a box for 10 reams right now.
How
How
many
long
boxes?
how long does that sale price last?
A week,
So, and
sure we'll
through,
know
through when?
next week,
Date.
next Wednesday.
Okay, so that gives us a full week.
Yeah, so basically, if we know tomorrow, if it's a big thumbs down that we aren't getting our money, then I can proceed to start doing this stuff.
I suggest that we anticipate that we will get the information by the end of the day, by end of day, just so that we're not keeping our fingers crossed and hoping to get out to Home Depot or wherever it is.
Yeah.
And it'd be better going to one store if we can get it all, rather than running around town.
You can't get paper at Best Buy,
I
not at a reasonable price. Office Depot's the place to go.
Well, Office Depot's just around the corner, so it's good.
Yeah.
But Best Buy's out farther.
Okay, so how many boxes are you suggesting, Melanie?
I'm suggesting 4.
Okay. And
And there is tax on that, right?
Yes.
Okay.
let's see,
What about ink?
And then that's my
What's the shelf life of that kind of ink?
it probably a year, I would say.
Okay. Do we go, how quickly do we go through it?
I have the same printer here, and my ink. I've had this printer for, but I'm not doing. They do bulk printing.
Yeah, they do like 32 pages on each side and all that kind of stuff. They do a lot for the agendas.
Right. Our agendas are huge a lot of times, and sometimes they're like 68 pages for like the last agenda. So they go through a lot, especially.
okay, let's just get an amount, a number.
It's $55.99. This is the
Wait,
stuff that they use for our printer, is the Epson liquid printer.
oh, for the ink.
So for each set, it's $55.99. Also, you can get just plain black, is what she goes through a lot.
Right.
And that is also $55.99 for just black. So my suggestion is to get like 4 of these and then get 2 of the black. Or 4 and 4.
4 and 4.
Agreed, 4 and 4. Kelly, you have your hand up?
Yes. So these are materials that we use anyway. So regardless of whether the money goes or not, we still would buy these things, right? So this is stuff we're going to use out of that money, regardless of whether it rolls over or not. Am I correct?
Not in this bulk of it. Normally you get 1 and get a box of paper or 2, and that's it. But because we don't want this money to go back into general funds, we're gonna try and bulk purchase stuff.
Trying to spend as much
So
of this
in
money as
short,
possible.
yes, we would go through it. We wouldn't normally buy it this quickly, but the plan is to, if we're gonna lose the funds, to stock up now,
Right.
so we don't have to do it later.
Right. That makes sense to me. I'm like, okay.
So, I mean,
I wasn't sure how much we go through, and I'm like, okay, but I do understand we need to spend it. That's the big thing.
yeah, the short answer to your question is yes, and that's why I was asking about the shelf life, because if the ink will not last through the time that the current ink would need to be replaced, then
Yeah.
we may be wasting our money.
Right.
But the short answer, like I said, is yes, we're just stocking up now as opposed to waiting until we need it on demand.
We're also gonna have to look at the dates on it too, and if we're within the dates of not using it, we can always return it and get a fresher one. Just,
Oh, there's that too.
Okay, so we've come to a number for multicolor and black.
4 for color and 4 for black, right?
I think that's what I heard, yes.
And both of them individually cost $55.99.
Yes.
Okay. Let me.
Well, 4 of them would be 223.96, and the other 4 would be 223.96.
Like that.
Yep.
Yep.
I was busy typing while you were talking.
All right.
So 3, 2, 3, 7.
So we are down to 32, 35, and 73 cents. Unless we're
So
so far.
the question that I have is one of the things.
Oh, and Thomas has his hand up.
Thomas?
Okay, maybe Melanie's thinking the same thing. We've been asked for, oh, go ahead, Melanie. No.
I was going to suggest with what remaining money is left to take, like we cut like Assistance League down only to like $1,500 this time versus what we normally give them, which is $2,000. And because we were trying to spread the wealth, and Many Winners Gathering only got 1,000 and they were asking for 2. I just think that we should try, and a couple of these that got cut short to spread the wealth is to take a couple of these, and I haven't submitted the grants yet, knowing that we were doing this meeting tonight. I'm holding off until we know about the rollover, and once I know, I'll submit everything. But Vic and I discussed it, and I was just going to sit on it because I was going to increase the award number for them.
Yeah, and Feed and Be Fed, we gave them 1,000. I think they asked for 1,254, so I was thinking we could just give them the rest, the 254. Then, like Melanie was saying, increase the others, as we decide is suitable, and use up the rest of the money that way.
That would be good.
But the only issue logistically is those are by check. We need to make sure that we're
right, and they have to be done by the
amounts. We need to be sure that we're final on the amounts for the NPG increases to make sure we don't that we don't run out of money for the other stuff.
Right. So the NPGs have to be submitted like sooner than later now. I can't wait much more past tomorrow before I submit.
I understand. We have to make that decision now, but we need to make sure that we are allocating enough for all the other stuff, taking into account the possibility we may have to get more, we may have to return and buy something different, stuff like that.
Yeah.
Okay. So could, I'm not sure if this is would be okay, but knowing what we want as far as equipment and paper and ink, if we can just fill in the blank, offline, knowing that we're going to increase the amounts for, I heard 3 different items. Feed and Be Fed, what was the other one? The other 2? Oh, Assistance League and
Many Winners Gathering.
Many Winters.
Okay. What?
Just give them, a set amount, and so that gets us close to
They
the
asked
full
for
amount.
2, so give them 1.
Yeah, add one more thing to consider while Vic's adding that up. So I
Yeah,
support all 3 of those. I was wondering if we would consider, we get asked by the budget advocate group to donate 500 for LA
Right.
Budget Day. And Melanie has been very active. I know we don't typically give, but wanted us to think about
That's what
that
I
if we've
was-
got to spend the money.
That was one of my suggestions, was for budget day and also for Congress to donate.
And how much are you thinking about?
I
I
was thinking
think
500.
500 each.
So budget day, Congress, many winters, assistance league, feed and be fed. Split the remaining among those 5. Well, accordingly, in the budget day and Congress, 500 each. Yes?
Yes.
Okay, let's do this. I'll have to make this work better offline.
There's no tax on those, right?
Right, that's why I'm making this column, but
You have to zero them, yeah.
so all right, I'm gonna so that's the total with the tax.
Okay.
All right, so okay, give me the numbers for the others.
1,000 for mini winners.
Okay,
And then another 1,000 for feed and be, or for assistance league. And then 500 for Congress,
what Congress is that?
Congress,
Neighborhood Congress.
and 500 for budget day.
So is this exactly what we're going to be giving them, or is this still in case they?
In
Do-
case, just,
No, this is to get rid of as much of the 7,000 as possible.
I mean, but are we actually going to be giving it out? Because what if we have something with issues that they don't want a speed bump or something, then we're out giving them anything, because we gave the money away to other people who were getting.
that's,
Well, the speed bumps, we don't give money for speed bumps. That's gotta be with DOT.
that's more
I
than
mean-
enough
We
left
needed it
over.
for other committees. They
So we
might.
have to
Okay,
fix some.
can we do me a favor? Can we make sure that we don't talk over each other? Because it gets very confusing.
Okay, we are
Over.
right now, we're a bit over.
So let's reduce.
And let me get Kane. Kane has been very patient with his hand up. Kane, would you have something to say? I noticed you put your hand down, but
Yeah, thanks. I was wondering if there is an option to prepay for any services, or have hold a credit with any of our vendors. Yeah, I was just curious about that.
No,
Okay.
no. You
We-
can't pay for any services until after they're rendered.
Thank you.
And we also can't prepay for anything into the new fiscal year in this fiscal year.
You can't
Thank you.
earmark stuff.
okay,
Thank you.
Thomas.
Yeah, I would propose cutting the paper by 1 because it's bulky and the heaviest thing to carry. And the color printer ink, it's probably the most likely to disappear.
Yeah.
So does that get us closer?
Oh, just one box of paper, yeah, would.
Yeah, and one ink down too on the color.
And
Well-
one color, but
Well, I see that it's
You
brought
don't-
us under the 7,000 with
oh,
that.
then we're
we
good.
don't-
Then we're good.
we don't need to reduce both of them for money, but
Okay, alrighty, we're good.
if you think that the ink will not last,
I'm
because it
concerned
doesn't
about it
get-
lasting, so I'm saying go down to 3 for the color.
Yeah,
Keep
that's
the
the black we
paper,
use.
keep the paper at the right, and then
So get rid of the paper.
eliminate
that.
one color.
Paper in one color.
like that.
Well, we're down just by eliminating one color.
Yeah, we don't need to eliminate both, and if we're gonna keep one, I would keep the paper.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's good.
Because
No, I think,
shelf life of paper is a lot longer than the shelf life of ink.
okay, I think we're good now.
I think we're good. So this is a whole motion in itself.
Correct.
Yes.
So, let's see, 6956. Okay, I would say we should leave this at
7.
pay. Because we have not to exceed. And then we can either list everything here, or we can say on the attached spreadsheet, and I will fix the spreadsheet.
Let's do attached spreadsheet.
Okay, so okay. So read that, make sure everybody agrees with the words.
Allocation and use of not to exceed $7,000 from unallocated neighborhood council funds for the purchase of items as delineated on the attached spreadsheet. If it is determined that the fiscal year 2024-25 rollover funds will be rolled over to the fiscal year 2025-6, this motion will be null and void.
And
Perfect.
then I will fix up all this stuff down at the bottom to move it up here, but I didn't want to take the time to do it here, but all the information will be the same.
So, we need a move and a second.
So moved.
I'll move. Okay, second.
Okay, yeah, you should move it, saying you did all the work.
Okay, then I'll make you second. Okay, so Norman second, Christensen moved.
Any further discussion on it?
Any discussion? Anyone? I see no hands. Oh,
Kelly,
Kelly,
Okay,
Kelly,
I'm trying, I couldn't unmute. So I thought we were gonna go ahead and allocate for the electronic stuff regardless of whether it rolls over.
no.
no.
Have to do that separately? Okay, that's fine.
No,
Only
it's
line
only if we have to spend the unallocated funding.
Okay,
now later at like, say, the June meeting, we could just repeat this and do the same thing. But for the purposes of this meeting is strictly if the rollover money gets lost.
okay,
But now that we've discussed it and everything, so we have a better idea of what we would need and how much and stuff, and we can bring it to the full board if we want to, but at this point, it's only if the money goes away.
Right. So,
That
any
is-
further discussion? I see no hands. Vic, would you like to call roll?
Okay, John Barbera,
Indeed. Yes.
Vic Christensen, aye. Cynthia Gagne,
Yes.
nope, Alonso can't. Oh, John, you can't either. Unless we do the Assistance League part separately.
Oh, yeah.
Let's just do it separately.
Okay, so so to approve everything except for the Assistance League increase of the MPG, John Barbera,
Yes.
the Christensen, I, Cynthia Gagne,
Yes.
Alonzo can't, Melanie Lebrecq,
Yes.
Kelly Miller,
Yes.
Jay Nicholas,
Yes.
Thomas Norman,
Yes.
Ray Regalado.
Yes.
Okay, 1, 2, 3. Okay, I just count to make sure. We have 8 ayes, 1 ineligible. Okay, hang on, let me write my notes so I make sure we get this right. Okay, John, you cannot vote on this one because you have to recuse. Well, you state as you're supposed to that you have to recuse and why. For only the increase in the MPG award for the Assistance League, John Barbera is probably muted.
No, I'm recused.
And why?
Okay. Vic Christensen, aye. Cynthia Gagne,
Yes.
Melanie Lebrecq,
Yes.
Kelly Miller,
Yes.
Kane Nicholas,
Yes.
Thomas Norman,
Yes.
Ray Regalado,
Yes.
and that's it. 2, 3, 4. So that is 7 ayes, 1 ineligible, and 1 recusal.
Okay, I'm going to say that we are through with agenda item number 3. I'm going to move on to agenda item number 4, announcements, future agenda items. Any hands raised for anything else? I don't see any hands raised. General public comment, second time around, non-agenda items, raise your hand. Oh, geez, no hands raised. I am now calling this meeting adjourned, and our next meeting will be Monday, the 9th. This is our next board meeting, Monday, June the 9th, at 6 o'clock.
And
You know
we're
what?
adjourning at 7:28 p.m.
And you know what, everybody, thank you so much for being here. I know it was you know, a little bit extra work to do, but I think we did some great work here.
Yes.
So
Thank you.
Thank you,
Thank you
Melanie,
all.
for doing all the research, and thank you, Vic, for having all the stuff all ready, to
yeah,
begin.
Yes. Thank you. We'll be prepared. And be prepared for whatever happens. Thank you, everybody.
and I will keep you posted, given
Girl
what we
Scouts
find out from
break
city
out.
council.
Thank you.
Hey, I just want to say, everybody, we have to,
We're
we
still
lost a great person today. We
Who?
lost Norm from Cheers. George
Oh,
Wendt
he
passed
died
away.
yesterday.
Oh,
that was
yesterday?
yesterday.
Oh,
Yeah.
well, I'm behind the times. That's how much I look at news and everything.